all here. Back to our topic, and I trust you folks have taken a good decision to spend a little time with us. And remember, many of our students have found tremendous value from the services that we offer, starting with getting themselves IIBA certified, which is what we primarily do. But they also get help in terms of career mentoring, tools training, and many other things, which is beyond the IIBA certifications. So again, the content is very light. It's not very heavy. So what I'm trying to do today is to understand or make you understand the context in which the BABOK guide was developed. Bit of decoding BABOK knowledge areas, because sometimes unless you understand the real intent behind a knowledge area, it automatically becomes harder for you to understand BABOK. It's a large document, about 500 pages. So let's try to do a very high level overview, some tips, and then throw it open for discussions. So at this time, I would like to ask you a very simple question, and let me see how many of you would go for it. So let me see if I can launch a poll now. How do I do that? That is something I wanted to try. Let me see more. Yeah, polls and quizzes. So I'm going to ask you one simple question. The pop will be on your screen. Please take a look. The question is very simple. What will you purchase as a customer? A branded cell phone at USD 900 or an unbranded cell phone at USD 800? Okay. Okay, let's see. Got almost 15, 16, 17 responses. Okay, let me see. I think we have 26 participants, so you should have an opinion. It's free. It's okay. You don't have to go with anybody else's opinion. That's fine. Okay, so we got about 19 responses so far, and maybe I can end the poll at this time. And the poll results are something like this. I can share the results with you guys as well. And 90% of you, approximately 90% of you, say that you would purchase a branded cell phone at USD 900. 10% still prefer to buy an unbranded phone because it's slightly cheaper, which is perfectly fine. Organizations also will be like this. No, organizations are built by people like us. So every time we have to buy a product, we always generally look for a branded product, because that comes with some kind of endorsement. It comes with some kind of assurance of quality when we are buying a branded product. That assurance of quality may be missing in an unbranded product, which is quite understandable. And if you consider yourself as a product, I don't know how many of you consider, do some of you consider yourself as a product, or we are not a product? We are a product. Okay. So let's not have any qualms about it. When we are in the marketplace, we are asking for a price for our products and services. So every business analyst in that sense is also a product or a supplier who is asking for a price from a customer, which is your organization or your client. That's it. No. So if you are a branded business analyst, it's very likely that you will get a better price in the marketplace compared to someone who is not a branded business analyst having similar experience and expertise. No, please don't discount expertise and experience at all. It's not like that. But given everything else being similar, a business analyst who is a branded business analyst is likely to earn more. And that has been proven an enormous number of times with ourselves, with IIBA. You go anywhere, you go. That's how the good B schools make so much difference to people's work area. Like if you go to Harvard or MIT, such schools, you automatically get a branding rub off on yourself. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to make sure that we gain the branding from IIBA, because IIBA is already known. The certifications are already known in the market. And when you acquire those certifications, you also become a branded business analyst. There are a couple of offers that I will show you at the end. One, there is an additional $50 benefit that you will get as part of being part of this webinar. And otherwise also, there is a Black Friday offer that I will tell you at the end. Maybe some of you might have seen it on our website as well. Okay, I'm skipping my slide. I already told you about myself. So some of you might have started studying BABOK. How is it? What do you find? Is it an easy read, a difficult read, an interesting read, not an interesting read? How do you find BABOK? All good? You love it? Some of you might love it actually. If you love reading books and especially complex books, you will like BABOK. But what I heard one interesting comment from one of our past student is the night he doesn't get sleep, he reads BABOK. And that's what will make him sleep. So obviously, Babak is not a very interesting read, although it's a very um, it's a treasure house of knowledge for sure, but it is not a great interesting read as such. So you have to make an effort to read Babak. Okay, so what is Babak? Babak is essentially an acronym for Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, which many of you already would know. And it contains the practices, the tasks, the techniques, and the behavioral skills, plus a vocabulary that every business analyst should know. That's the purpose of BABOK. And BABOK has actually evolved over a period of time. Okay. So it started in pretty much in 2004, which is almost 20 years back. And that's the time people started thinking about creating a body of knowledge for business analysts. And who were these people who were creating this body of knowledge? So they were part of software project development. Okay. And I believe many of you might already be familiar with something called SDLC, in which we develop a particular solution. So typical SDLC contains some things on planning. You want to plan out your activities, how you want to carry out the project. Then you think about requirements, what kind of requirements should be fulfilled by the solution. Then you, of course, design the solution, then you develop the solution, you test the solution, and you implement or deploy the solution and maintain it. So people who were developing requirements usually interacted with business stakeholders because primarily um, the requirements came from stakeholders. Okay. So these people called themselves as business analyst. Ideally, they should have called themselves as business requirements analyst, but they call themselves as business analyst, which is okay. I mean, and that's what I think has created a lot of confusion in the market as well. You will find business analysts who do data analysis calling themselves as business analysts who do requirements analysis calling themselves as business analyst. But in a sense, there will also be overlap between all these analyst roles. So once you become a good analyst in requirements, you can possibly be a good analyst in data side as well. So this is where the genesis of these people came. So these were people who were working as business requirements analysts, and they decided to develop a body of knowledge. What is the advantage of having a body of knowledge? Two things. One, we formalize the knowledge about the subject. So everybody around the world understand how to do proper business requirements analysis and also provide participants or students or professionals a mechanism to prove their knowledge on this body of knowledge. So once you prove your knowledge and competence on this body of knowledge, the institute offers you a certificate or a certification indicating that you are a proficient business analyst. Then the first version came out in 2005. Then the next version came out in 2006. The version 2 came up in 2009, and version 3 came up in 2015. So that's how the BABOK has evolved over a period of time. It's not a static document. But again, remember, when we were developing BABOK throughout this 2004 to 2015 time frame, the dominant life cycle of development was waterfall or predictive approach. So you will find a lot of discussions on waterfall approach in BABOK, which is natural. It's not that it did not speak of agile, but maybe over a period of time we would have more content added to agile. And as I hear from some members in IIBA that going forward in future, the CBAP folks may have to not only read BABOK, but also other associated guides available within the IIBA framework. So right now we test your knowledge only on BABOK, but in future it might be BABOK plus the Agile guide, plus the data analytics guide, plus the Agile analysis guide. So it will become a lot more content in future. But I don't think in every area you have to be a master, but at least they would expect you to be cognizant of all the knowledge areas that BABOK is working on, all the guide books that BABOK already has developed. But I'm also a little worried, like how do we converge all this content? BABOK is already a big document. On top of it, we have so many guidebooks coming their way. So we have to figure out a way that it is still a reasonable amount of study material. Okay. So obviously, many of you are already existing business analysts or you want to become a business analyst. And this is how BABOK defines business analysis. It's practice of enabling change, positive change in an enterprise, process, product, organization by defining needs. Needs are basically problems or opportunities and recommending solutions, primarily software solutions that deliver value. That means it delivers higher benefit compared to the cost incurred in developing or maintaining the solution. So that's how the whole business analysis cycle is performed. And you can see here it starts pre-project. That means we think about why should we solve a problem, or if we have a problem in hand, is it worth solving or not worth solving? So that's what we are doing in pre-project. Usually you prepare a business case at that point in time. Then you start a project. During the project, of course, there is a lot of tasks that we carry out in terms of our requirements implementation approach, in terms of eliciting the requirements, analyzing the requirements, and finally evaluating the solution that we have developed from the project. This is a very important diagram, so keep in mind. Okay, so this slide I have already explained to you the genesis of this role called business analyst. And how many of you believe that the role of software in the company's activities will increase or it will decrease over a period of time? What do you believe? You can put it in Q&A. Do you believe that the role of software is going to increase or decrease? I think I see, at least I've been practicing software development for 30 years, and I clearly see that the role of software is getting more and more critical to business. Software is becoming more and more powerful over a period of time, and companies which can take benefit of software are going to do better. And hence, the role of business analyst will continue to become more and more important because we are the people who can understand two worlds very well. We understand the business world and we also understand the technology world. Okay, so again, I told you before, please remember BABOK is UNMES is becoming more and more complicated, specifically challenging regulations. Yeah, regulations will keep evolving. No, regulations are not static. The marketplace itself is dynamic. So obviously, organizations have to adapt themselves to newer ways of working. Okay, so as I'm talking about BABOK, I'm going to show you two mind maps, and these two mind maps will be very helpful in order to get an overview of BABOK, and also when you try to apply your concepts into the study guide or into BABOK itself. So the first mind map that I want to spend a little time is the knowledge areas, and you can see something interesting. I have modified the names of these knowledge areas a little bit. Okay, because a lot of times when I started reading BABOK for the first time, I'm talking of 2012 or maybe 2011, I had a lot of difficulty in deciphering what BABOK is trying to really say. And I came from management consulting background, so obviously I had some kind of notions about the terms and terminology, and it wasn't kind of matching with BABOK. So then I said, okay, it's important for me to understand whenever we use the word business analysis, it's important for us to replace it possibly with the word business requirements analysis or simply requirements analysis. A large part of BABOK is devoted to requirements and requirements development. So please keep that in mind. So the first knowledge area, I'm rewriting it as requirements planning and monitoring. So we are thinking in what way we elicit requirements, in what way we analyze requirements, in what manner we implement the requirements. All that planning happens in the planning and monitoring knowledge area. Okay. Then the second one is pretty much explanatory. I just added two words. Instead of saying it as elicitation and collaboration, I'm calling it as requirements elicitation and stakeholder collaboration. I believe elicitation is mostly about requirements, so there's nothing unusual about it, but I'm just making it a bit more explicit. And the collaboration has to be happening with stakeholders. So there is not a big change as such. For the third knowledge area, I've left it as it is. It is about requirements lifecycle management. Requirements take birth, they mature like human beings, they become strong over a period of time, and at some point in time, they die as well, like human beings. So we have to manage the requirements from their birth till their death. And sometimes you may be surprised that some requirements can live for years, centuries, millennium. Okay, think of some requirements which have lived for 1,000+ years in an enterprise life. So requirements life can be very, very long. The fourth knowledge area, if you observe the strategy analysis, this is where I have modified the entire knowledge area name and I'm calling it as requirements implementation roadmap analysis. This is something interesting for BABOK to observe and all of you to observe. Whenever BABOK talks about strategy, it typically is talking of a roadmap. A roadmap is an important part of strategy, but not the only part. But that's what we focus on. And obviously, throughout our life cycle, we will get a lot of requirements, and these requirements have to be fulfilled either by buying a solution or constructing a solution. These are the two main approaches through which we can build solutions. So the implementation roadmap essentially discusses about, do you want to implement the entire requirements in one go, or do you want to do it in chunks, which has become very, very popular. And that's what we are calling it as the adaptive approach or the agile. So that's mainly about defining the roadmap for implementing the requirements. The fifth knowledge area, I don't have to make any change. It's requirements analysis and design definition. Whenever you look at design, you also think it as solution definition. So maybe sometimes you are constructing it in-house, then the design will emerge. But if you are buying it from the market, then you need to have a solution evaluation phase. Solution procurement evaluation. That means you want to purchase a solution and which solution will be the best solution for you to buy. So that's what you decide in the fifth knowledge area. Then the sixth knowledge area, I have reworded it slightly as solution performance evaluation and improvement. It's not solution selection evaluation. Solution selection evaluation happens in the fifth knowledge area. Here we are more keen on finding out how is the solution performing and can I make the solution performance better. Okay. So this is one important mind map I would like you to keep in mind and use it as a reference whenever you are studying. The next mind map is an extension from the previous mind map. In this case, we have detailed out every knowledge area. We have included the tasks in the knowledge area. We are also indicating to you the key deliverables that you will typically produce as part of your business analysis work, and when tasks can be carried out parallelly, when they have to be conducted serially, all that is given in this mind map. This mind map might look so simple at this time, but I remember we spent close to 40 hours in deciding what should be the good mind map for BABOK. It took us so much time because we thought of many ways: vertical, horizontal, what level of detail we show, what level of detail we exclude. And remember, we are trying to put a 500-page document into one image. So it's really hard. But I'm very glad the image came out quite well. And it is an amazing image that you can refer to understand the sequence of tasks, the parallel nature of certain tasks, what are the key deliverables, at what stage the key deliverables come out, what are the typical input-output relationship between various tasks and inputs and outputs. So this is again something very, very interesting. I will share the deck with you as well, so you will get the mind map along with the deck. Then we also attempted something interesting, which is not there in BABOK, which is to present the techniques alongside the knowledge areas. BABOK does not prescribe this. You don't have a mind map like this in BABOK. But what we felt is certain techniques contribute more to a particular knowledge area. So grouping them makes sense. And we also realized that a lot of techniques have a lot of commonalities between them. So when you start understanding these commonalities, it reduces the stress on your mind. Like, say, for example, if you take elicitation as a activity or phase, you have techniques which are more collaborative in nature, where you interact with stakeholders. In that, again, you have group-based techniques and individual techniques. In group-based techniques, you have brainstorming, workshops, focus groups, and collaborative games. When you observe these four techniques, you will find almost an identical pattern. You plan for it, you invite stakeholders, you conduct the session, you follow up on session findings. You also should have a moderator or a facilitator, because whenever you have a group event, something is going to go wrong. No? Somebody may become a little angry, agitated. So if you don't have a facilitator, things may turn ugly. So all these things we could actually call out and then put you in a framework so that you don't have to study the same set of steps being repeated in every task. Good. So I have another 5 minutes in hand. So let me just quickly sum up what we do for you. One, we are a premier IIBA EP, which I think or most of you would know. In fact, it's saying 1950, it's already 2000 plus. We just reached the 2000 mark today, so you can find all these names on our website as well. If you want to reach out to some of them, you can do that as well. Just go to our website, adaptiveus.com, IIBA certified list. So I'm very glad we hit the 2000 number today itself. You can see the date as well, like 20th November. And Julfa is the person who completed ECBA. And that's how her name got included here. So you can find all these people. I think 99% of these people you can find on LinkedIn. If you want to connect with them, you can connect with them and maybe discuss your plans or your preparation with them as well. Okay, so this is something important. Remember, some of you might be considering buying our self-learning product, which is the cheapest product that we have. But you can also add on the live classes on top of it by paying a very nominal amount. Like for ECBA, it's just $80. For CCBA, it's $120. And for CBAP, it's $150. So with that, you get the complete digital content and you also get to attend all the live classes that we have for that particular product. I think this I already have told. I don't want to repeat this again and again. Okay. Again, our products come with success guarantee, guarantee to run, and money back guarantee as well. I don't think anybody else in the market offers you this kind of written guarantee that we do. These are the set of trainers that you will meet when you take the training. Laura Patton is on a sabbatical, so we have one more person joining her place called Olivia Hampton. She's again a very seasoned business analyst, and I think in 2025 we will have one more person, Bindu, joining us as a trainer. She is the director for IIBA Europe or UK. I think Europe, if I'm right. Yeah. Victoria is already on the board of IIBA. I have been associated with IIBA for 13 years now. So I've been part of exam team committees as well. Again, lots of stories that you can read. So things of interest to you. I trust all of you would have access to this. This is visible on our website as well. So it's a nice book. Lots of questions on IIBA exams, information that you can find in this book. You can also take advantage of our Black Friday offer, in which you get up to $1,000 off, mostly on our ultimate plans. So I think the ultimate plans now come with free IIB exam voucher. Go to the website and you can click on the link and then you can explore that offer as well. And as part of this webinar as well, you can ask for an additional 1 month extension. So you just say IIBA Web 2024 11, or maybe I'll keep it very simple for you. Uh, this is just Web 2024 11. So remember this code, and using this code, you can ask for an extra month of access without any payment to any of the products that you buy. So instead of 6 months, you get 7 months. Instead of 1 year, you get 13 months. Okay. So this is a code that you can use. Again, if you wish to buy the exam vouchers, you get a little discount with us as well. So for CBAP, you get $84 discount, but that's possible to buy only if you are our student. Independently, you can't buy. But when you buy the CBAP exam fees, it comes at 84 discount to you. And for ECBA, it comes at $34 discount. For the other products, I have not listed, but on every product, you do get a little bit of discount on your exam fees as well. Good. This is what we do. Good. That's it. From my side, I'm almost right on time. And now I can take your questions. So please come to the Q&A chat and then put your questions, and I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Okay. One of you have asked, when is the next batch date? It starts on, I think, first Saturday of December. So that would be 7th of December. Yeah, we usually start on the first weekend of the month. So, and usually try to complete it by the end of the month. But in December, it might go to January because the last 10 days or so will not be having any sessions due to Christmas vacation. Okay, good. Anybody else with any other content question on BABOK, on the certifications? Anything in your mind which is troubling you? Okay. Uh, okay. Unmesh asked, any prerequisites for CBAP? There is a prerequisite for CBAP. IIBA expects you to have about 5 years of business analysis experience to go for CBAP. So the exact numbers are 7,500 hours, 900 hours in 4 knowledge areas in the last 10 years. So that's the requirement from IIBA side. Tausif asks, how many sessions are there for ECBA? We have 4 sessions for ECBA, so it will be 2 weekends. That's what it is for For CBAP, it is 8 sessions and 4 weekends. Yeah, Unmesh, for CBAP, it's 8 sessions. Other than these primary sessions, you also have access to 12 office hours, which happen after you complete the main course hours. So then you start the tutorials or office hours, and then you ask, come back, ask your questions, take any support on the application filing or anything, post the main training as well. Okay. Okay. Ratandeep says, what is the requirement for CCBA? For CCBA, it's exactly half of CBAP. So that's 3750 hours of BA experience. So typically we say 2.5 years of experience should be needed. The requirements are a little lower than CBAP. Obviously, it's a mid-level certificate, but it's almost like the midway between ECBA, which has no experience requirement, and CBAP, which has high experience requirement. You are in the middle. Mohammed asks, for CBAP exam, do we need reference? Of course, you need 2 references. These 2 references can be your career manager, can be your customer, can be another CBAP. So this the 2 references from that. So usually on adaptive side, we can give 1 reference, but we expect you to bring another reference from your side, which I think you can. Dennis asked, do you support the Agile certification? We do. We in fact support all 7 IIBA certifications. But for that, we don't have live classes at this time, but we have a product called guided learning in which you get all the resources and you also get office hours. So if you have questions, you can come to the office hours and ask for uh, answering those questions. That's what we do for the Agile Analysis certification. Okay. Tausif again asks, how much time will it take to complete ECBA? And is the ECBA exam a multiple choice question? ECBA usually takes about 60 to 80 hours of preparation. So about 6 weeks to 10 weeks is good enough time, depending on at what speed you can study. And all IIB exams are multiple choice questions. Just that the question complexity becomes much higher when you go for CCBA or CBAP. In ECBA, the questions are the simplest questions. And then the second good thing about ECBA is it does not require you to recertify. The certificate will remain valid forever, whereas CCBA and CBAP will expire after 3 years. Okay, Ratandeep says, do you offer certificate for Scrum Master? No, we are only affiliated to IIBA. We don't do anything other than IIBA programs. Okay. Muhammad says, how long does it take to clear CBAP exam? Typically 3 to 4 months is good enough time. So mostly complete the training in a month or 2, depending on at what speed you want to go. After that, you need about 2 months of preparation time to go through the question bank, do the simulations, all that. And the good part about adaptive, maybe I have some time, little bit time in hand. I will show you the content that you will receive as part of any of these trainings that you take. I'm just using CBAP as a reference because it's a bit more comprehensive. For ECBA and CCBA, the content will be little less. But CBAP will have everything. That's why it's easier for me to show you CBAP content. And some of this content you can also access free. There is a trial login that you can create and get some bit of content, not everything. So this is a module that helps you to attend the classes. You will see the past recordings as well, whichever session you attended. We upload the recordings there. Then if you look at any chapter, we start with some short videos, which are mostly created by me. If you are able to understand my accent now, you can understand the videos as well. There I speak a little slowly. Okay, then we have a study guide for the chapter. And this is one of the good things that we created. The study guides are really compact. They're really compact. They don't have much information. It's kind of spaced out nicely. It's easy to read. You can see here, mostly a lot of times bullet points, so that we minimize the content as much as we can. So the intent was to compress BABOK in a manner that you can find it easy to read. And I'm pretty glad we compressed BABOK by 90%. So this guide takes 1/10 time to read compared to BABOK. Then we have different types of questions. So some of you are interested in ECBA. You will typically see questions which are a little bit tinier, maybe 2 sentences like this. And then, okay, I have attempted, so you can actually retake the quiz. Don't worry. This is the kind of question that you'll get for ECBA. So one simple question with 4 options. Whereas when you go to CBAP or CCBA, you'll start getting questions which are slightly longer, naturally. And these are more application oriented questions as well. So this is what you do. Then when you come to CBAP, you will actually start seeing questions which are a lot longer. Like you see here, the question is about 1 page long, sometimes 1.5 page long, which is what we call case type questions. So this is something you get plenty of case type questions as well for you to prepare. Then we have lots of flashcards which you can play, like what is accountable or what is meant by being accountable, what is adaptability. Hmm. So basically the ability to adapt is adaptability. Similarly, adaptive approach. This is a term that you will hear 1,000 times during the training and studying. So this is the agile approach. What we are calling adaptive approach is nothing but agile approach. So you get all this content for a chapter. Then you also get content related to certain extra things like the session guide. You get a full study guide which you can print. There are some useful tips here like BA techniques, when to use which one. This is a very useful document that you can find while preparing for your exam. Lots of example numericals, especially for CBAP, all kinds of different types of questions, case-based questions. Then you see something called a formula workbook. So these are mostly for your exam preparation time. Then you also have exam prep help like your preparation plan, application simulator, all this comes here. Then finally, you also have access to the simulation system. And I'm kind of quite proud to say this is very close to what you see in actual exam. Okay. At least the interface, the type of question, this is not what you get. So please remember, it's not that you did a question here, you'll get it in the IIB exam. No, but the questions will be similar. So I can actually take any question, like, so for example, take exam. So you can see here. So you just start the exam. Once you start the exam, you'll actually see something like a timer running on top of this. So that timer is telling you that this much time is left for your exam. So these are all timed tests. Then you can review your exam output, see where you are doing well, where you are not doing well. We are also planning to make a report based on knowledge areas. So you can see in which knowledge area you are doing well and which knowledge area you need to improve. That all you can see once the new report is out. So that's about it. This is a pretty stable platform. We have been using it for 4 years. Absolutely no complaints. Okay, so let me go back and look at Q&A. Oh, Dennis says, I have not been working for the last year. For the reference, are my previous hours experience is still valid? Of course. It's the time period is 10 years for CBAP and 7 years for CCBA. So even if you have a break in between, it does not matter. Okay. Ratandip, the content for Agile certification is different. There is an Agile extension to BABOK. That's what you have to study, not BABOK. So it does reference BABOK, but there is a separate guidebook for Agile certification. Dennis, which certification are you looking at? It depends on that. So let me see. Oh, Agile certification. Agile certifications, you can do it in 4 weeks, not take more than 4 weeks if you're doing it full time. Even CBAP, you can do it in 6 to 8 weeks if you're doing it full time. Okay. Tausif, usually our study guide is good enough. We still recommend you to read BABOK once because that's the mother guide. But I think with the study guide, you should be pretty much okay to write the test. Ratandeep has a good question. Do you offer guidance on domain knowledge? As of now, no. That has been in our radar for some time. Not very sure. We are starting something on generative AI in 2025 because there is a lot of interest around it. Maybe domain knowledge, we probably would look for a partner because that's what we would prefer. Rather than trying to do it ourselves, maybe find a domain partner. Oh, you're trying to see my screen. I am not sharing anything on my screen, but let me see. I am sharing my screen. Oh, okay, maybe. Sorry. I was on the PPT. Now I think you can see my screen. Okay, okay. Muhammad Adnan says we have three offerings. Of course, we do. One is the self-paced learning. We give you all the content. You have to study yourself. Then we give something called guided learning. We give you the content and we give you office hours. So you can come and ask questions. Then the third one is the full program. Like you get content, you get live training, and you get office hours. So those are the three different modules. Okay. Dennis, Agile can be done in 4 weeks. CBAP may take 8 weeks max. You can do it tidy faster as well. But I think less than 3 weeks for Agile will be hard. Less than 6 weeks for CBAP will be hard. Okay, good. Anybody else with any other question? Okay, there are a lot of questions which has come here. What I will do, I'll try to see if I can export all the Q&A questions and give it to you all so that you can see what questions you asked or somebody else asked. Anyway, the recording will also be up soon. So you can access the recording as well, but I'll also try to see if there is a way to copy this thing. Uh, you may be able to copy, but that may not be the best way. Oh, okay. So it's expecting you to type the answer. Okay. I haven't typed the answer. I have spoken about it. I think maybe in the chat or something, I should be able to do that. I'll find out how to get these questions. Somewhere it might be giving us the questions. Okay. I trust I answered your questions. If there is anybody else whose question I haven't answered, please let me know. Any other question from anybody else? No? Okay. Then I think I don't have any major update from IIBA at this point in time, but I'm hearing there could be some changes in 2025, especially for CBAP. Uh, Looks like it may become a little harder. Even for ECBA, I'm hearing that the questions are going to become a little bit harder, more practical oriented. So, in case you want to try the tests and pass, I think it's easier to do in the older format because the new formats are always challenging for the training institute, for the students, because both sides are not knowing what IIB is going to ask. No, because I remember when CBAP V2 changed to V3, it was a lot harder. V3 is way harder than V2. Let me tell you because I have seen both V2 and V3. So if CBAP V4 comes, it's going to be much, much harder. So if you want to complete, do it when the old system is still active. Okay. Thank you, folks, and thank you for joining us today. I'm glad we had this session. And in case I don't see many of you before December, I wish all of you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If I see some of you joining our courses, we will, of course, meet up. And good luck with your exam preparations. Thank you.